Hello, and welcome to Shrewton TV's latest video podcast. My name's Jez, and this week I'll be talking about crows. Now, if you were to look up any time of the day whilst wandering through the village of Shrewton, chances are you'd probably see a crow flying by. And that's because Shrewton has huge amounts of these birds, and it sort of got me thinking, really. We all know they're really intelligent creatures. We've all seen programs where, for example, they have nuts which they can't crack themselves, so they'll roll them into the middle of the road for a car to crush the shells before hopping back into the middle of the road and reaping the rewards. But as I said, it got me thinking, and I started wondering how we could put our Shrewton Crows to good use. So I did a bit of reading up to see what other people had done. And I came across this guy in America who had an article written about him on the Make magazine blog. And basically what he had done, he gradually trained the crows in his neighbourhood to recognise loose change discarded on the pavement. And then he trained them to pick up this loose change and deposit it in a homemade vending machine. And basically for every coin that's deposited into this box, out pops a peanut. So basically he's putting these crows to good work. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'd really like to do the same. So I put some of those fat balls in my garden, suspended from one of the trees, and just waited. And it wasn't long before visitors came, but they just completely obliterated it. You wouldn't tell there was anything hanging there just a couple of hours ago. So I obviously need to have a long hard think and work out how we're going to associate getting these crows to work with giving them a reward. But I don't know. Anyway, it's something to think about, I guess. Incidentally, does anyone remember when analog radio stations used to carry out various tests? They would broadcast birdsong. Well, this birdsong transmission, you wouldn't believe it, but it's acquired quite a following over the many years, and as a result it's got its own web page, and it's also got its own digital radio station. And I've heard rumours that it was actually recorded somewhere around here, and I'd really like to know if this is actually true or not. So yeah, just drop me a line if you do have any information, snippets of information to give me, because there's not a great deal I can find on the web. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, this is a really short podcast, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye!